Welcome back, everybody, to the Orange Report. I'm your host, Kira Davis. I am a longtime conservative journalist and fill-in radio host at SiriusXM at the Patriot Channel 125 and a longtime resident here behind the orange curtain, living the American dream. I'm so glad to have you back to the show this week. Make sure that you are signed up for all of our stuff. Go to all of the socials, all of the pages. We've got YouTube, we've got Rumble, we've got Facebook. And make sure that you're also signed up to get updates on our crowdfund, our Give, Send, Go crowdfund. This is where you get to partner with us to bring the news and views you can use from California and Orange County right to your doorstep. And if you partner with us, you're going to be a part of this mission to be truth tellers here in Orange County, to shine a light in places that don't get a lot of light and give people a place to go to learn about our beautiful county. And today, we're actually going to talk about something that's really important. It's not just about our county. It's actually affecting the entire nation, the entire state. We're going to talk about illegal immigration. And this is important to me. And I think it's important to all of us because for the last, 4 years, but really 20 to 70, Americans have been forced to digest a meal that we just have not asked for. We've been sat at a table and had all this food shoved down our throats. And then when we dare to complain or say that we're too full, we're scolded, we're shamed, or we're even punished. We're told that there's something wrong with us because we're saying we can't possibly eat another bite. We need to go tend to our own families. And instead, we're just having this shoved down our throats and we're sick with it. America is sick with it. We're obese with dispirit. We're feverish with frustration. We're rabid with rage. We cannot take one more bite. We're not just talking about preserving, we're not just talking about preserving the space around us, right? We're not talking about preserving our spaces or preserving our medical system or preserving our educational system. Those things are overwhelmed and they're overrun, of course. But it's not just about preserving those things. It's about preserving our way of life, our culture, in our county, in our state, and in this country. Not everyone belongs here. Not every culture is equal. And not everyone is welcome here. When you start welcoming the unwelcome, you get an unwelcoming society. Americans, we don't have to live like this. We don't have to accept that life is like this. We just have bad traffic. We got bad schools. Life is just gummy. It's just gummed up. This is how it is living in a major American society, state, city. We just go on with our lives as if it has to be that way. And you know what, America? It really doesn't. It doesn't have to be this way. And we don't have to live like this. And you know what? I, for one, refuse to. So let's get to the Orange Report today. Bring on the sunshine. Okay, now it's time for the rundown. This is where we'll pop into social media and see what people are covering from around Orange County. And our first video comes from Laguna Beach. ICE was seen in Laguna Beach raiding. It's not really clear what they were raiding, but it's ICE, right? They come after immigrants. Here's a video from Laguna Beach Unfiltered. Check this out. All right, so I ran to the comments. I didn't walk. I ran over there because I just knew that the good people of Laguna Beach had a lot to say about ICE raids in their community, and I was not disappointed. So I wanted to share some of the comments with you. Let's see. Amanda says, "Not in our town. We don't want you, ICE." She's like, make sure that ICE knows that she's addressing them and no one else. ICE, we don't want you, ICE, here. You phoned, I think she means phony. You phoned wannabe cops in masks. Shameful. Go away. Well, I guess I hadn't really thought about it like that before, Amanda. Maybe you're right. Here's a comment from Gable. Gable says, nice to see so much love from the Laguna Beach community. You want your cars washed and houses painted at lower prices, and then you come here to hate on Mexicans while you sip your wine and you look down with heat. I think he means hate. Maybe it's phoned in heat. Wine that was probably picked by Mexicans. You know how Mexicans pick wine. And all your art, nice homes haven't given you any class. Now go back to your yoga studio and pretend you're one with the universe. Here's a pro tip for you Democrats and progressive liberals out there, particularly you guys in Laguna Beach. Maybe you should stop referring to Mexicans as the people who clean your toilets and pick your food. It's like liberals only ever talk about immigrants or Mexicans in terms of the labor that they do for their home. Like, this person doesn't think about Mexicans at all in any other context except for how they serve him. And then he has the nerve to suggest that, the yoga moms in Laguna Beach are the problem. No, sir, you're the problem. Or ma'am, or whoever you are. You are the problem. You're the racist. Like, you never hear any of these people complaining about their Mexican dentists or their Mexican architects, It's like, well, you're not going to have anybody to clean your toilets. That's how they think of you, Mexican immigrants. They think of you as the people who clean their toilets and raise their children and do the slave labor for them. And that's what it is, slave labor. I'll remind you that a lot of these people are the same people who vote for a $20 an hour fast food minimum wage. They vote for a minimum wage, a living wage that is absolutely unsustainable. And then they go, well, if you get rid of all of the illegal immigrants, who's going to pick your crops? Who's going to clean your hotel room, your fancy hotel room? Remember when Hunter Biden did that really weird interview? He was complaining about Mexicans not being able to clean his fancy hotel rooms. You keep talking about that. Everything's going to be more expensive. Liberals throw that at us as if they're really saying something important. Oh, well, your blueberries are going to be $8 a pound. Why? Why is that? Why will my blueberries be $8 a pound if an illegal slave doesn't pick them? Could it be because you keep voting for minimum wage, which is anything but minimum, and put such a strain on the producers, the people who actually provide things in this society, put such a strain on them that they can't provide those goods at a decent cost? Because you insist on this arbitrary minimum wage that everyone in California has to follow, but it's not going to be out of your pocket because you don't own a business and you don't create jobs. Instead, you just fuss at other people who do. And then when things get expensive, people cut corners, and what do? They hire slave labor. And so you want us to do both at the same time. You want to have the cake and eat it too. Or you want to have these high minimum wage, higher living wage, whatever that means in a state like California. And you want slave labor so you can have your blueberries at $2 a pound. Which do you want? I don't know about you, but I'm on the side of liberty. I don't think we should have slaves. My people fought very hard to be freed from slavery. I thought that was a bad thing. I thought that was a thing we weren't into here in America, let alone California. All right. This next comment is from EH. She says she grew up in Laguna, and this comment section is so not the vibe of this community I grew up in. Disappointed at the lack of humanity here. I don't know. What's the vibe? What is the vibe of Laguna Beach? Is it just like complete lawlessness or what? It always seems pretty nice and put together when I'm there. What's the vibe? I think most people would like the vibe in their communities to be safety. I think most people would like the vibe in their community to be, better education and better city services. And I think the problem is the vibe. And I think the problem in our beach cities and across Orange County is the vibe has been seriously mellowed. Seriously. And in a place like Laguna Beach, that's like a beach town, you should be able to go there and feel not only safe, but feel chill, And Laguna Beach doesn't feel like that anymore. Orange County doesn't feel like that anymore. I think the vibe that people would like in that area is safety. So what you're hearing from people, EH, isn't hatred. It's fatigue. Everybody's fatigued. Everybody's tired. Everybody's tired of your vibe. And they want a real vibe that they can go out and vibe to by the beach and not have to worry about being assaulted by illegal aliens on their own shores. All right, let's do one more comment. Let's see. Oh, Dan, this is a great comment. We're going to end on this one. This is the perfect comment to end on. Dan coming in to save the day. Dan says the comment section is great. Poorly informed liberal boomers and unhinged pink and blue haired crazy cat ladies. Trump is your baby daddy. I don't even really have anything clever to add to that. I feel like that is the way to just deal with the unhinged people. They don't get what we're doing here. They don't get what's going on here. They don't get what time it is. The grown-ups are in charge now. All right. I want to show you this video from OC Hoods on Instagram. And you can roll the video while I'm talking. They say they spotted some First Amendment auditors out at Trader Joe's in Irvine recently. And these are the guys in black. I want you to be out on the lookout for them out in your neighborhood. I've heard they were in San Juan Capistrano. I've heard a couple of other places, maybe Westminster, I heard they might have been in. So what these guys do is they're pretty harmless, but they are annoying. And what they do is they record people in public spaces, supposedly to make a point about the First Amendment and also constant surveillance. I guess their point is like, we're all under surveillance all the time, and it's very uncomfortable. But why are you uncomfortable with someone filming you blatantly, but you're not uncomfortable with the camera that's in your pocket that you carry around every day? I've done some research into these guys, and that's what they say. I don't know if that's what they do, but that's what they say they do. And so what happens is they'll try to annoy people, and then when people get annoyed with them, they'll clip those videos and put them on the internet, and they'll label them like crazy Karen videos, or watch this Karen go nuts. You can even see in the video that I played, there was a gentleman who did get upset. I think he pushed them or something like that. He's going to go on the internet and be labeled a crazy Karen, and they won't offer any context. So I think as far as your personal safety, I think by and large, these guys seem pretty harmless, but they will annoy you. So if you see them, just ignore them. Keep walking. Don't give them any oxygen. Okay, and I've got one more report to play. I want to play, this is from Jeb Smith on TikTok. And he has the rundown on an interesting story about Catholic charities. Catholic charities. I love the Catholics. I'm not Catholic myself, but Catholics do a lot of great work in Orange County. We have a great Catholic, Lila Rose. You all might know Lila Rose here in Orange County. She is a huge pro-life activist and a Catholic. But Catholic charities, I don't know. Well, here's a little report from Jeb Smith.
Orange County just secured a major grant that could impact thousands of local immigrant families. Catholic Charities of Orange County received $1.5 million in state funding to help residents apply for citizenship, work visas, and other legal documentation. And the timing matters. This comes after months of federal ICE raids across the county at places like Home Depots and local car washes. Catholic Charities has been doing this work since 1976 and say they've helped over 350,000 people gain legal status here. And with an estimated 229,000 undocumented residents in Orange County, demand for legal services continues to grow. Cities like Anaheim, Costa Mesa, and Santa Ana have already created immigration aid programs to support families affected by the raids, offering legal help, rent assistance, and food support.
I don't know how I feel about that. I like charities, and I like religious charities. I also like Catholics. What I don't like is my tax dollars going to religious charities or Catholics or anyone really for illegal aliens. Am I to believe this story? If this story is true, then what I am to believe is that the state of California has given the Catholics $1.5 million to provide legal services for illegal aliens. $1.5 million.
You know what the government wouldn't give Catholics? The right to deny employment to LGBTQ employees, or the right to deny healthcare coverage for birth control or abortions. They have no interest in Catholics when it comes to that kind of stuff, but they'll sure as heck help Catholics help other people break the law. You can't make this stuff up. It's lawlessness. It's lawlessness is what it is. With every year, and you know what? We've got another gubernatorial election next year. And what are they going to do? All of these people who are running, they're going to come to you and they're going to tell you how bad California is and how expensive life is here. And we're going to have to raise your taxes. Costa Mesa's thinking about a tax hike right now. And we're going to have to raise your taxes because we just can't afford all of this stuff. We can't afford to feed the people who need to be fed. And look at all these homeless people and the kids in the classrooms and the teachers and their holiday pay. You know, what about all these things are going to ask us for more money while they've just given Catholic charities $1.5 million to provide legal services to illegal people? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know what? Yeah, never mind. I'm just going to end the rundown right here because I don't want to talk about this anymore. We need to move on to our sponsor segment.
Well, do you love cheesy TV Christmas movies? Do you hate the non-stop negativity of the TV political news cycle? Well, I've got good news for you. Then you're going to enjoy my podcast, Journey to Christmas Land, which is the sponsor of today's show. Journey to Christmas Land is a podcast I do with my BFF, Amelia, and every week we review a film from the cheesy Christmas Land universe. Hallmark, Great American Family, even Netflix and Lifetime. We have a lot of fun, and you don't have to be a fan of those genres, of that genre, to enjoy the podcast. You'll have fun just listening to us break down all of the silliness, the tropes, the cheesiness, and even some of the warmth. I think you'll really like this podcast, so go check it out. You can find Journey to Christmas Land on Substack, YouTube, or Spotify and iTunes. And you can also follow us on the socials at JT Christmas Land. That's Journey to Christmas Land with Kira and Amelia. All right, today in Other Fruits, we are taking a look at our own esteemed Governor Gavin Newsom, who I always want to call the Gavinator or the Gaviner. He's fresh off some weird tantric posing at the New York Times. Did you guys see this? It has like launched 1 million memes. What man sits like this, everybody? What man sits like this? This is supposed a weak, silly man. All right. Well, anyway, Newsom is shockingly, he's refusing to comply with federal authorities over the removal of an illegal alien who murdered an 11-year-old boy from San Diego. So this is what the Department of Homeland Security posted earlier last week. They said the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, announced that they lodged an immigration detainer with the San Diego Sheriff's Office for Hector Balderas Aguilar, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico, after his arrest for a felony hit and run that killed an 11-year-old boy over Thanksgiving. According to the local reports, on Wednesday, November 26, 11-year-old Aiden Antonio Torres de Paz was attempting to retrieve a soccer ball outside of his residence in Escondido, California, when he was run over by a vehicle. The driver of the vehicle, Hector Balderas Aguilar, then sped off. Aiden died from his injuries the following morning. Police apprehended, this is important, this is DHS. Police apprehended Hector Balderas Aguilar, and ICE issued an arrest detainer. Unfortunately, because California is a sanctuary state, ICE anticipates the detainer will not be honored. All right, do I need to recap that really quick for you? An illegal alien murdered an 11-year-old San Diego boy on Thanksgiving morning, and ICE wants to come get him, and the governor will not give him up. You know what? We need to start, you know what you need to start asking when you hear stories like this, be it the governor or your mayor or the person on your local city council. You know what question you need to ask? Whose side are you on? I think that's a question we just say out loud these days. Whose side are you on? Because I know a lot of you are even looking at this and you're laughing, right? And you're going, oh, we know they're not on our side. Yeah, I know me and you get it, but maybe we need to start asking the question out loud. Do you know what I mean? Literally. Whose side are you on? All right, well, the Gavinator's press office, of course, issued a response. They said, this is a complete lie. As we have repeatedly said, the state coordinates with ICE on the deportation of convicted criminals. California honors federal criminal warrants. Nothing prohibits the federal government from doing its job in this case. And DHS replied, just a little back and forth here, isn't the age of social media fun? Remember when we used to just have to guess how these people were talking to each other? We used to just have to guess what they say to each other. And now we can just go right to social media and see it back and forth like it's a high school drama. I personally love that whenever I want to know what President Trump is thinking, I don't have to guess, or I don't have to wait for his press secretary to come on TV. I can just go to the internet. I can just go to TruthSocial and hear his direct thoughts. It's amazing. But here was the reply from DHS. You're playing word games to keep an illegal alien murderer in America. California rejected the ICE detainer for an illegal alien charged with killing an 11-year-old boy. Gavin Newsom says he'll only cooperate with ICE if the criminal illegal alien is convicted, meaning California will let him roam free, even though he's been arrested on a felony hit and run. You get that? They're saying they will cooperate with any illegal immigrant who has been convicted. But see, Mr. Healer hasn't been convicted yet. He's only been charged. Word games. See, that was the governor's response to DHS. It wasn't, we're so sorry for the parents of this murdered boy. We're so sorry for your community, and we are doing everything we can to keep the community safe. It's not even making fun of DHS, saying we're keeping the community safe. We care about this little boy and you don't. His first response is to make fun of DHS, to ridicule them. Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Let's see what ICE says. Gavin Newsom, all right. He's been previously deported four times, and committed a felony when he illegally entered for the fifth time. This violent criminal must be apprehended ASAP. 4 times, and only tripped over this horrific crime on the fifth time. California, Orange County, Laguna Beach, whatever your vibe is there. How many times is enough? This is what I want to know. When do you say, let me get out of my higher register here, because I know that's not good TV. Ladies get all up here when we get upset. But I am upset because I want to know how many times. What's the last time that you let somebody do something to our community, to our citizens, and say that's enough? When is it enough? Because 1 time wasn't enough for this gentleman, nor 2, nor 3, nor 4. It was the 5th time that he got to come in here and murder a little boy. Somebody's little boy is dead because the state of California wouldn't remove him, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times. It's too much. I don't care about your damn vibe in Laguna Beach. People are dying. When are we going to take this seriously? Our governor isn't taking it seriously. The previous presidential administration has not taken it seriously. Our Orange County Board of Supervisors really doesn't take this seriously. We're under duress, and there's hardly anywhere to look for help right now in this state. We've got a gubernatorial election coming up next year. We need to be serious about thinking about that. And when you're thinking about who you're going to vote for, it can't just be who you like or who you go to church with, or who you think has a good message. We need to pick somebody who can win, because enough is enough. We need to consider who's going to fight for us and who's going to fight for our kids. This little boy should be alive. He should be alive today. He should be excited for Christmas. And he's not here because the state of California let this man walk into our country 5 times. When will it be enough? I think this is a good segue into the interview that I did with Mayor Steve Knoblock in San Clemente, the mayor of San Clemente, Steve Knoblock. And they have been under extreme duress in San Clemente for quite a while. I don't know how many of you have seen this story. If you don't live in San Clemente, you might not even know it's happening. And I wanted to cover it because I realized this is a national story. This is a huge story, and Orange County is a front line area. Geographically speaking, we're right on the front lines. These people, these cartels, these criminals, they come right through our communities first. And so San Clemente, beautiful beach community, pristine beaches. We've all raised our kids there. We've all gone to parties there. I've attended many baptisms at trestles over the years. San Clemente has been under attack by Mexican panga boats carrying illegal immigrants crashing the shores of the beach, sometimes in the middle of the day while families are there playing, crashing the beach, running out to waiting bands, and then spreading out into the rest of the country willy-nilly. We don't know where they go. We don't know what happens after that. Where do they go? Who are they? Do they have kids with them? Tom Homan from ICE has said that the Trump administration has so far rescued 62,000 kids out of slavery, or out, just 62,000 missing kids that came across the border. That's 62,000 of 300,000 that the Biden administration had no care for. And by the way, no progressive and no liberal ever asks about. Nobody asks about those kids. Only us on the right. We're the only people who ever think about them. We're the only people who ever talk about them. And if you didn't hear Tom Homan out there talking about those kids, you would think they didn't exist. 62,000 kids he's found so far. And he said, I can't even tell you on air some of the horrible things that those kids were doing. And those kids are still out there. So when these kids crash the beaches of San Clemente, right? And then they run out to those waiting bands, where are they going and who are they with and where are those people taking them? And to what? Whose side are you on? So I wanted to talk to the mayor because he's gotten a lot of pushback for wanting to solve this problem. He says it's a huge problem and there needs to be a solution for the safety of San Clemente and particularly Orange County, Southern California. And so he was getting some pushback, of course, from the usual suspects. And he found a really creative solution, a workaround. One of his ideas was to take the surf cameras. So these are the San Clemente is a beach town, and the surf cameras that point out to the surf to show the surfers how the ocean is looking that day. He had an idea to take those cameras and point them a little further out, redirect them a little bit, so that the community themselves could be the watchdogs, so the community themselves could look into the cameras and report any suspicious activity that they see. He got pushback. And well, he came up with a creative workaround. So I got to interview the mayor about it. And I want you to take a listen to this. And we had to clip it because, show's getting long. But we're going to put the full interview up on YouTube and Rumble and our other social medias. I highly recommend going and listening to the full interview and listen to how Steve Knoblock got to be mayor of San Clemente. Actually, he told a really cool story about how that happened. And I had never heard it before. Pretty awesome. So go to our YouTube page and check out the full interview. But here's my interview with Mayor Steve Knoblock.
Well, I am here with San Clemente Mayor Steve Knoblock, and I am so proud to welcome him to the Orange Report. I wanted to talk to you, Mr. Mayor, about what's going on in your town with the Ponga boats and this immigration issue. But first, before we get started, would you just tell people a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Kara. It's good to be with you. My name's Steve Knoblock. I'm the mayor of San Clemente. I've been on the city council here in San Clemente about 7 years. San Clemente is the southernmost beach town in Orange County, California, right next to Camp Pendleton, which is in San Diego County. We've got about 7.5 miles of beautiful, pristine beach here in San Clemente. It's a great little beach town, and I'm honored to serve as mayor here in this town.
One of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you about your city is because I think this is a national story. This actually isn't a local story. It happens to be in my backyard, but it's a national story. because this is related to the authority that local cities like you have to protect your own borders. It's not just about what the state can do, the feds can do, even the county can do. But there are a lot of people who are in vulnerable communities who are having to deal with these situations all on our own. So would you tell people just briefly what's been going on there with the Ponga boats landing on your shores? What are the issues you're facing?
Right. Well, San Clemente is about 60 miles from the Mexican border. We're just north of San Diego. And for the last few years, we've been getting an occasional Mexican Ponga boat. A Ponga boat is an open deck wooden boat, about 20 feet long. They're very low technology boats. Occasionally, we'd be getting Pongas with illegal Mexicans with drugs, human trafficking, coming up on our beaches. Since President Trump has done a phenomenal job of securing the border, since he's been president, we've seen more and more of these Mexican Ponga boats coming up the coast and landing on our beaches. Kira, in the last year and a half, we've had about 30 Ponga landings in Los Angeles County and Orange County. Half of those Ponga landings, 18 of them, have been here on our beaches in San Clemente. And I think part of the reason is we're just north of Camp Pendleton. So these people coming up the coast, as soon as they get past Camp Pendleton, which is about a 20-mile stretch of the coast, obviously these illegal immigrants aren't going to land on Camp Pendleton because they wouldn't get a very friendly greeting. So they go just past Camp Pendleton, and as soon as they hit the San Clemente beaches, they turn right. They do a hard 90-degree angle right for our beaches, and they have access to roads. So what happens is these Pongas will hit the beach either in the daytime or at night, and there's vans waiting for them. We're a great surf town. In fact, the 2028 Olympics is going to be here in San Clemente.
Yes,
We're excited about that. We have great surf here. So we have surf cameras on our pier that constantly watch the beach and look at the surf. And I thought, those cameras are looking at the beach. If those cameras were simply directed toward the ocean, we might be able to detect some of these Pongas that are coming ashore and hopefully intercept them. So I recommended to our city council that we simply put these cameras that we currently have toward the water so that our citizens, which currently have access to the cameras, can also have access to the cameras. And if they see something that looks suspicious, they can pick up the phone and call our sheriff's department, Customs and Border Patrol, the proper agency.
So let me just recap. So your idea was to take these cameras that are already there, already in service. Your proposal was simply to allow the public to, when they see through those cameras, if they see something through those cameras, they can report it.
Exactly. But when I brought this to the council, we had a flood of what I call sort of left-wing globalist types that say, look, leave the Pongas alone. These people, let them come to our beach. What are you doing? But it's a danger. It's illegal to land your boat on our beach where people are sunbathing, surfing, bodyboarding, families are there. It's dangerous. It's a real public safety issue. In fact, not only is it a public safety issue, Kara, many of these immigrants have died and drowned on these boats. At the result of that meeting, the council said, we don't want to have to pay for the additional equipment. So they said, if the Customs and Border Patrol people will pay for it, maybe we're okay. So for the last 6 or 7 months, we've been meeting with the Customs and Border Patrol folks, and they've looked at all the locations to see where the cameras could be set up to properly intercede and see these Ponga boats in advance. And we, at our last council meeting, we authorized the city manager to complete the contracts to give them a lease to have access to our city property. We've gotten, a lot of people are in favor of this. In fact, the homeowner associations that own beach property said, we will grant to the Customs and Border Patrol whatever permits or license that they need to place their cameras on our beach. So we've got a lot of community buy-in, a lot of community support. So there've been a lot of, from the left, from the globalist crowd, from the open borders crowd, opposition to this measure. But I think the vast, vast majority of our community supports it.
Let me ask you about the landings, particularly on the more populated beaches, like let's say Trestles. It's not a place where I would want to see a boatload of immigrants. I don't care what the makeup of it is, just a boatload of strangers roll up onto the shore. And then who's in the van? And they're scooting up to get in the van. Who's in the van? Are they armed? when these people are in our community, no one's thinking about the larger picture here. These people set foot on our sand and then they're in our community with whatever they're carrying with them.
That's exactly right. And a few years ago, we had a terrible spat of burglaries from a Chilean gang that targeted our inland community. It's been a major problem here in San Clemente, and it is dangerous.
A lot of people don't understand, but sort of the beach communities in Orange County are kind of the last line of defense when it comes to the immigration issue, because we're always the first hit. And I want to circle back to because this is fascinating me, Mr. Mayor, that people actually would come to your meeting and beg you to let criminal illegal aliens just wander onto the family shores of the most coveted, pristine beaches in America. You're not going to find these beaches anywhere else. People pay a hefty price to enjoy these beaches. But I've been talking, Mr. Mayor, a lot to the nation on my national show about what happens when people set foot in the sand of towns like San Clemente. Then where did they go from there? It's not a California problem. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not a California problem. You may be tempted to make it so, but it's not.
No, you're absolutely right. These vans aren't local shuttles. They're designed for interstate travel. They can go north into California, into Arizona, Nevada, and then anywhere in the nation they want. And they can be there in a matter of hours with our interstate system. So, like you say, Kira, we're the last line of defense. They hit our beaches, and then they're off to Lord knows where. And we have the ability to stop them, the desire to stop them, and they need to be stopped. And I can't say enough good things about the current administration and their efforts. We've been contacted by the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs saying, what can we do to help you guys in San Clemente do your job better with the immigration issue and the people that are hitting your beaches? And they've been very, very helpful and very cooperative. And I can't say enough about the willingness and the courage of the people at Customs and Border Patrol to help us out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us. And again, I want to encourage people to go out there and check out the full interview. And I love Mayor Knoblock. I think can we make this guy America's mayor? Isn't he adorable? He's really an amazing guy. I mean, I don't mean to denigrate him by saying he's adorable. He's also a very intelligent and effective leader. Remember when Rudy Giuliani was America's mayor? I think there's a case for Steve Knoblock to be America's mayor because he really is on the front line of a really serious battle, a war even. And he's just sort of this unassuming mayor. People don't really know who he is, and they don't even know the work he's doing to protect them in some other part of the country. Whether you're in Colorado, if you're in Minnesota, where that Somalian issue is popping off right now, if you're in New York, it doesn't matter where you are. This issue, this problem's on your doorstep, and it's coming through Orange County. That's why I think that this is a really big story, and I'd love to see more people talk to Mayor Knoblock about what they're doing in San Clemente and how they've had to come up with creative solutions to typical roadblocks. And that's what we're going to need moving forward. Everybody, Orange County, California, America, we need to think outside the box. We can't be thinking about, we can't be old us. We have to be new us. We can't be Biden age people or Obama era people or Clinton era people. It's the golden age. We all have to be different, and we all have to be thinking differently. And anytime you look at a problem and you go, oh, can't be done, that's when you know you've got to shift your point of view. Think outside the box. That's what President Trump is doing with everything from the border to tariffs. He's trying everything, and that's what we have to do here in California, too. We can't afford to rest on our laurels or hope that someone in leadership is doing it for us. Most of the time, people in leadership are doing things to us. They're doing nothing for us. Mayor Knoblock happens to be one of the rare people in our local government who cares deeply about his job and his community. And we're all going to have to get in this game, I'm afraid. All right, well, let's see. Do we have anything else for you here? Let me check my Now, I had another story for you today, but I think this show is getting a little long. So what we'll do is we'll end it here, and I'm going to ask you to do a few things. All right, you're going to see all the information up here on the screen. I'm going to tell you where to go to find us on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook, on TruthSocial. I think we have a TruthSocial account. Go like all of those. That's what you could do for number one. First thing you can do. Second thing you can do, share this show. Tell everybody that we're here. Let everyone know we're here. Third thing that you can do is go contribute to our crowdfund campaign. That makes you a partner in what we do here. And what we want to do here is just give people a place to talk about what's going on in Orange County. I mean, you can see the difference from the first episode to this episode, right? As we get our legs under us and we get moving, we're going to be moving along at a faster pace. And we're also bringing on reporters to the show. So I'm really excited. I've got a school board educational reporter that I'm looking to bring on. I'm super excited for that. So you'll be able to be informed about what's going on in our school districts across Orange County. And again, if you have tips that you want to send to us, a story you think we should see, or even a social media influencer that, I love to play those little social media videos. I think they're great ways to quickly digest what's going on around the county. So if you have a favorite Orange County social media influencer, send them my way. And what else? Oh, and save, the date towards the end of January, beginning of February. We're going to be having a launch party for the Orange Report, an official launch party here in Orange County. We're looking for an Orange County business to support. And all of the most fabulous people in Orange County are going to be there, and a few from outside of Orange County. So you're definitely going to want to be there too. Save the date for that. What else do I have for you? No? Just remember, Orange County is the front line in this battle for America. It really does start here, whether people know it or not. So let's be vigilant. Let's stay engaged. Let's always remember to be happy warriors. This has been the Orange Report. I'm Kira Davis. Stay sunny out there, Orange County.